All right, what's going on, MRT fam? I think I have my voice back for now. It comes and goes, so I don't know how long it's gonna be with me, but it's here now. It's here now, so wanted to knock this live out while it's actually here. All right, so what do we got? Wow, I really made the live and then I forgot what I was saying. Oh yes, revisiting coping tools. Something I was talking about with somebody yesterday or the day before, or maybe yesterday and the day before, was about the time period of my life when I first got my diagnosis of anxiety disorder and depression. Hey, Marshall. Yeah, so when I first got that diagnosis, I remember it was like a very hard time period in my life, and the one thing that I did not want to do during that time period was a self evaluation. So, what I mean by that is, I thought that there was something medically wrong with me, and I was dead set on figuring out what was medically wrong because they kept telling me it's mental health, and I just didn't want to hear that. I didn't know much about mental health at that time, but when I finally got out of that space, I had to dig really deep to get out of that space. And what it took for me to get out of that space was a lot of self reflection, thinking about where my life is currently, thinking about how it got there, thinking about trigger points, thinking about coping skills and techniques that I have been using, or figuring out ones that maybe I haven't used to this point, but finding things that would work for me. And the reason why I'm talking about all of this, iTricity, is because I have recently found myself feeling some of those same old feelings that I haven't felt in years since that time period when I got my diagnosis. So I've been doing a lot of reflection. And over the past few days, I've done a whole lot of nothing. And that was part of what got me into that space in the first place, because I feel like I don't feel great right now, so I'm just gonna rest and stay to myself. And then when I feel better, I will get out of my shell and get back out there. Hi, Cass. But something that you learn through going through steps to recover from a mental illness is that sometimes the only way out is through. That doesn't mean you always have to be doing something, or you always have to be interacting and engaging with people, or you always have to have an activity that you're doing, but it means that not doing anything means nothing is changing. And I know that I give a lot of simple statements, but that one is a profound one if you really think about it. It's just like the beginning of Finding Nemo. Beginning of Finding Nemo, when Nemo's mom died, and they lost all those different fish. He recovered Nemo, his dad recovered Nemo, and then he said, "I'll never let anything happen to you, Nemo." And then from there, Nemo ends up getting lost. And then the dad, I forget what the dad's name is, but the dad finds Dory. And then he was saying to Dory, "I promised Nemo that I would never let anything happen to him." And Dory was like, that's like a funny thing to say, because if nothing ever happened to him, then nothing would ever happen to him. And it was like a fake, it was like an accidental profound statement, but it was a profound statement, basically meaning the only way nothing can ever happen to him is if he doesn't do anything. And you can't really be alive and not do anything. So there's always a chance of something happening, basically. So yeah, I remember, like, for me having something like an agoraphobia disorder, which I know a lot of people don't know what agoraphobia is. Hi, KJ. Agoraphobia is, I mean, you can look up the scientific definition of it, but from somebody who has this as an underlying condition, it's basically when your safe space shrinks and then you start to develop irrational fears of being out in public spaces and stuff like that. So for me, I was getting panic attacks, and my brain connected that the panic attacks were due to me being unsafe in my area. And so if you give in to that, you might have a tendency to shrink and not want to leave your house and not want to do anything, because you feel like you're in some kind of a danger, right? And the more you give into that is the more you feed that fear. So similarly to depression, depression could be something where you feel it one day and you're like, I'm just gonna lay in my bed under these covers. And then you're like, you know what? I just need some rest. Tomorrow is gonna be better. You wake up the next day, you don't feel any better. You're like, maybe I just need another day of rest. One day it can multiply to 2, and then it can become 4, and then it can become 8, 12. For me, I went through a time period of my life. Don't take that person out. I want to see where this is going, Perry Plain. I want to see where this is going. Because that's normally somebody that I would just remove from the chat, but sometimes when there's an interesting troll, I'll see it through for a couple of comments. My bro named all his kids so he could give them all a nickname, and his daughter is KJ. Oh, Kevin Johnson. I didn't know you like basketball. Or do you like basketball, or do you just know that fact because of the kid that was named after KJ? I almost. Yeah, I was like, sir, how much did you pay for your eyebrows? Oh, these are au natural. These eyebrows are all au natural. People should pay me. People should pay me for these eyebrows. I'm just interested, man. My bad. They look like decent. I don't think look bad. My bad, king. Is this Cass not Cass, I'm sorry. Is this Cam? Is this Prince Cam reincarnated and I just don't know? Because this is a Cam-like comment. Oh yeah? Thick eyebrows are the way to go. I remember I went to a barber one time. It was like a Spanish barber. And you gotta be specific when you go to the Spanish barbers, because this guy, he finished up with my hair, finished up with the beard. They're always amazing with the beard. The Spanish barbers are the best, because they go in with the razor. But then he started cutting my eyebrows. And the thing about it is, once he already started with the one, it's like, it's not like I can tell him stop, because then he like rounded out my eyebrows and thinned them out, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And that's the type of thing where you can't do anything about it until it grows back. Like if somebody messes up a cut, you can just chop the rest of it off. If somebody messes with your eyebrows, it's just like you gotta just wait until it grows. And that was the only time my eyebrows have ever been cut. Let's see. I'm not into thin brows. Some people rock it well, but it's not for me. Oh, I got a mean 3-pointer. Some will even use the term fleek for them caterpillars above your eyes. I know, right? Cass, this person is probably about my age, because Gen Z always laughs at me when I'm using these outdated terms. Have a blessed day. Yeah, this person is probably in the range of like 35 to 45, something like that. Where you're kind of on the cusp of just being able to hang on to being cool, but you're just right on the cusp. Like you're a little cooler than your counterparts in the previous generation, but you're not necessarily considered cool by Gen Z. I know that feeling. They'll hear me say something and they're like, what does that mean? And then the thing is, there will be words that meant something in my day, and then there were words, you didn't disagree with me though, Perry, so that means I'm probably right. There are words that meant one thing when I was in school or like when I was growing up, and now they mean a different thing, and I use the word, and some kid is looking at me like, what? Because for them, it is a misusage of the word. But for me, it's like, what? Y'all changed the name of the word, but I guess we probably did that too. Oh, I guess Marshall had too much. Don't ask for this wrath. Yeah, I mean, I knew that this guy was gonna get blocked eventually, but this is a rare time where Ahmad had a shorter fuse than me, because normally I'd be blocking people instant. I don't even wait to see if the second comment is gonna be a troll, and if the first one already presents itself as one. My nieces and nephews say my brothers think, oh, it's me, but we're the same age. And there's also some young, old people. Like sometimes there's older people that basically are always just in tune with the youth. And then there's people that always have kids around, or like teachers and stuff, so they're just familiar with all this stuff, and I'm not. I have a few young, like my friends' kids, but they're like young, not like teenage young. So they don't really have those phrases to teach me yet. But once they become teenagers, I'll learn the next set. Like my grandma, for an example. My grandma is 90 years young. She's always presented as young to me. I always have felt like she's in the young at heart category. Not necessarily with her lingo, because her lingo is still back in the 50s, the 50s and 60s. But just in terms of having a young spirit, even at 90, I consider her, when I was growing up, when I was living in her house, because I lived with her for the first few years of my life. she was retired and she was like mid 50s. If you asked me what her age was, I would have told you that I thought that she was, 30 at that time. I didn't know how old she was. And I didn't even know, like, what does retired even mean? Because she's always busy. She was not a retired, sit around the house type of person, nor was my grandfather. These two people were always moving. They were always traveling. They always had some hobby. They always had somewhere to go. Felicity, you've got young energy with how much you. Felicity is always. I'm still cracking up a little bit at the fact that I thought that something was wrong. When I was like, I've done about 4, 5 different lives at this point, and Charicity has been on none of them. Like she misses one here and there, but to miss like 2, 3 days in a row, I was like, what's happening? I hope I always have a young spirit, Cass. Perry go to work. I missed that comment. That's funny. Marshall said, I know where this was headed. Oh, I missed Perry's 5th grade jokes. I'm gonna read them. That boogie in your left nostril is funnier than you. Ooh, this is the wrath. Goodness. I ain't blocked yet, bro. Right before he got blocked. Well, I'm glad your boogie comment, I'm glad that you got in a last amazing comment about boogies. That was the best one that I've ever seen. If you ever want to hurt me, talk about the boogie in my left nostril. The left nostril specifically, though, not the right. The right one I'm comfortable with. The left one makes me feel uncomfortable. Bro looks like my boss. Get to work, Sam. Get to work, Sam. You're late. Break time is over. Break time is over. I can't say sir because I don't know. It's sir or ma'am. Sim is like a unisex name that could be man or woman. My grandma was too. I used to talk to her all the time at 1 or 2 in the morning. My grandma goes to bed. She doesn't play about her sleeping time. She doesn't sleep much though. She goes to bed like midnight. She gets up. I don't know. 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. The wrath of a 5th grader or an old man. I think it's probably an old man because your left nostril is funnier than you is really something that I can see somebody having said to me in 1990, 1991. Oh, my grandma used to watch soap operas. How old is your grandma, Cass? 60s? I remember my grandpa, he had this old rocking chair. I think it's still in my grandma's house, as a matter of fact. No, I think they might have she finally let that thing go. But my grandfather used to sit in this rocking chair that he had in the living room, and he would put on his TV shows, and he would be like head back, having one of those, what looked like was an amazing sleep. And then I would go in there and I would grab the remote and I would change his show, and he would get up immediately and be like, hey, don't change my channel. I was watching that. And I was like, you were not watching that. You were sleeping. I was not sleeping. I heard everything. He would wake up instantly. It's so cold that I left this thing in my car for a few hours, this ginger ale, and I can't drink it anymore because it's frozen. I'm trying to break it up a little bit so I can drink the ice, because I like those slush drinks, Slurpees. Early 70s? Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to give up my mom's age, but your grandma is probably around my mom's age. Oh, got a few things to do, so I'm probably gonna hop off here pretty shortly. Edward is in the building. What's up, Edward? By the way, since people are not too responsive on my community posts anymore, I'll ask while everyone is here, what topics would you like to see me cover on here? If I was to cover topics on a regular basis, I mean, if I was to have a structured show where I covered different topics, what would you like to see me cover? I'm gonna round this live out and be on here until probably another 8 minutes to round it out to 30 minutes. And then I'm gonna go around because I'm getting myself up to do some Instacart. Hi, DJ. Hot topics and politics, but hot topics probably. I don't understand. What is this? And what do you got going on for the day? Are you at work? Are you home? Have any plans? The different reality shows and chats. You know what I realized? I think that I didn't really make a recap of the traders so far. I have a harder time figuring out how to do the app shows because people watch those in different times. Like the live shows, like a Survivor, like a Big Brother, like the Challenge, the ones that are actually on live TV, people tend to catch them every week. But the ones that are released on the app, people really vary with the times that they watch them. So that's part of the reason why I haven't really done a traders recap. And then they're releasing the episodes one at a time, which I hate. Season 1, they released them all at once and I binged them. Season 2, I want to say they were releasing like 3 to 4 episodes at a time. And season 3 just screwed us completely. Where they're like, we're going to give you 3 to get you all interested, and then we're going to release 1 per week. I hate that. Like, it almost makes me want to wait until the season is fully released and then watch it. The last episode, Traders, oh man. I feel like season 2 did not start off this crazy. Season 3, between the twists, bringing in Boston Rob and Wes and Derek. I mean, that's loaded, first of all. And then Boston Rob taking that early shot at Bob the Drag Queen. And they come on at like 8. I want to watch right away. Like, this season is gonna be hot. There's so many personalities on there. There's so many gamers. There's so many strategists. There's such a wide range of people in that cast. I just can't wait to see how everything plays out. That was huge. I didn't think that Boston Rob would take that shot so fast, but then no, Boston Rob. That's why you don't want to mess with Boston Rob. Boston Rob is such a gamer. The Traders is a game of chess. The Traders is a game, and what I mean by that is Boston Rob is playing checkers right now. Checkers is but there's less strategy to checkers. It's just like comparing when comparing the challenge to Big Brother. Like Big Brother, you got to be in there for like probably around 90 days, and also your sole goal is really influence. Now, on challenge, influence is a part of your game, but you can also win to keep yourself in. You don't lose it. You can't get taken out of the game unless somebody takes you out of the game. So even if your political game's terrible, you can still make it to the end. So that's why I'm making that comparison with the Traders, because you could be like, I got you, Bob the Drag Queen, but then everyone's like, okay, you just got here. You were one of the last people to get into this house, and you knew with such 100,000% certainty that Bob the Drag Queen had to be a traitor. No, when Bob the Drag Queen says to the group, everything that you're saying about me applies to you, and you're trying to deflect. Remember when that same thing happened? That happened with Dan Ghislaine, and what's her name, Phaedra. So remember when Dan, in a way less tactical way, was trying to throw everything on Phaedra, even though everybody voted Dan out that specific week. After that, they were like, there must be a reason why Dan felt so certain about Phaedra, you know? So I think he should, but I understand why he did it, because he was like kill or be killed type of thing, you know, like if I don't come for him, he's gonna come for me. But I think it was too early. I was excited about it though. I don't think that Danielle's a great trader. I mean, I guess it's too early to say that because I haven't seen enough of her, but people are already suspecting her early, very early. I think people, wait. Oh yeah, Derek. Yeah, I was excited about Derek and Wes. I never saw Boston Rob on Survivor, so I only know Boston Rob from everybody talking about him all the time. But Wes and Derek for sure I was excited about. But I'm excited about Boston Rob's like aggressive gameplay. It's interesting for sure. And I thought it was so funny with Bob the Drag Queen too, when he was like, I told y'all, I swear to God that I am not a traitor. And I was just waiting. I actually said the line before he even got to it. I know, I was like, he's about to say he doesn't believe in God. And he's like, and I don't believe in God. This is the thing. People telling me they swear on things is not going to sway me at all. I'm not going to be like, if they're like, I swear on my mom, I swear on my dad, even though I wouldn't do those things, I know that plenty of people have done these things on these game shows. So I'm not believing it based on that. I'm going to be looking at eye contact, body language, um, something that when I was interviewing Sam and Chaz from The Circle season 5, they both said something similar to me about The Circle that probably applies on the Traders too, where they were like, because I asked both of them about their connection to each other, right? And what made them so sure that the other was real. And they both said something to the effect of, it felt real in our conversations, but I was paying attention to how the person interacted with me when everyone else was around, and how they interacted with the rest of the house. So I think it's similar on the Traders, like one-on-one conversations, you can lie and say anything, but it's like, how does this compare? And then I also like what Cerie said, where she was like, you've got to pick you got to pick two faithfuls if you're a trader and have them by your side. Another thing that she was saying, she thinks that out of the traders so far, that Carolyn is playing the best game, because she was like, nobody is suspecting her. But there's definitely eyes on Boston Rob and Danielle. I so wish that they would invite Wes to be one of the traders, but I don't know. It did put less on Dylan, because Dylan didn't have to be the one who spearheaded that move. And I don't know if Dylan is playing this way intentionally, but Boston Rob is an amazing shield for him. Dylan is kind of reminding me of the Bachelor guy. I forgot what his name is. The Bachelor guy that had that back and forth with Phaedra. I can't remember his name. Wes did clock that. Hello, Debbie. I've been wanting to see what Danielle and Carolyn do for revenge. Yeah. I thought it was fun, but too early. Yeah, I agree. It's funny though, because Carolyn made it far in Survivor. Carolyn being scatterbrained actually benefited her on Survivor. That's the funny thing. Yeah, Danielle is too like crying and like over the top. She's so over the top with her reactions. She's not being low key enough. I don't like Danielle or Bob. They aren't playing smart at all. Carolyn is actually thinking smart, but they are discounting everything she's saying. I don't like it. Did you see Carolyn on Survivor? My favorite parts were when the when the big dog sits down, the little bee stands up, and when Bob said, "I got 4 words for you. I am a faithful, and I got 2 words for you. You're not." I'm like, Boston Rob is good TV. I hope he's around for a few weeks. He is good TV. I didn't know what his 2 words were going to say. I thought he was going to say BS. That's what I thought his 2 words were going to be. Oh, you don't? No wonder you're saying that, Edward. I don't think she has good calls either. I think that, but I also think that similarly to Survivor, people are like, she's so goofy and scatterbrained. I don't think that she could be a traitor and hold it. That's what somebody said. I mean, they didn't say goofy and scatterbrained, but one of them, I think it might have been Dylan or somebody, that was like, I couldn't see Carolyn being a traitor because I think that she would just tell everybody. And it's just like this is her behavior all the time. So nobody ever suspects her of anything. You would know more than Carolyn is. And you would also know that despite the fact that she seems all over the place like that, being all over the place is like an asset to her. Because people always are just like, Carolyn is just in the crowd, in the clouds. She doesn't know what's going on. Little do they know she's clocking everything. Carolyn said they should keep the girl they thought was a traitor. That was a great idea. Keeping someone in that everyone thinks is a traitor. Well, we know that Boston Rob's move was just for him. It was like after Bob the drag queen was like, I think one of the traitors is one of the people that got into the house at the end. Then he was just like, all right, game on. Yeah. All right, everybody. I am hopping off. Thanks for joining me. And you might see me later. Oh, the challenge reunion part 2 is tonight. I can't wait for that. I might do like a recap breakdown of that later on. So, please make sure like, comment, and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Talk to you later.